Good evening and welcome to Dover. You are with us with the Mason Dixon Racing Series. Doing a little fun race tonight. Not that in the championship, just an event to see if we can get some people to join this wonderful series. We are going to be running the street stocks tonight here at Dover, and we're going to be doing so in a feature race of 50 laps. But before we get to the feature, we'll be doing two heats if we have enough drivers. And I think a maximum of 16 drivers will be allowed to qualify. Dover International Speedway, track length 1.64 kilometers, which is exactly 1 mile. The current track temperature is 41 degrees Celsius, which is right around in the upper 70s Fahrenheit, which is a fairly hot track actually. 26 degrees Celsius is the ambient temperature. The humidity is right around 56%. It's partly cloudy, and we have a 16, let's say about a 10 mile an hour wind here. And that makes me realize we need to get this into Imperial. And we thank our sponsors tonight, Pulse Graphics and Nikki's Garden. They sponsor the Mason Dixon series, and we thank James Batzer for setting it all up. So let's take a look and join in the final few minutes of practice here. And cars are coming are coming in the into the race. Still, it looks like we have 16 drivers exactly. So that's good. And here you're looking at James Badzer in the number 7 car. And I do apologize for the bleeps every now and again. I have tried my best to get rid of them, and I can't get rid of them. So we'll have to make do tonight. We'll figure it out. So currently in practice, you can see Kyle Harbin in the 23 is quickest. He has run a 27.2. And the second in practice currently is Gavin Ropchamp. He has run a 27.32. And then it's Jarrett Small with a 27.33. Dexter Knipe with a 27.38. James Bedzer is currently running in fifth position with a 27.44. And it actually looks like he just jumps up to the second position here in practice with a 27.26. No doubt he's being helped a little bit maybe by running there in the draft, and he's currently running together there with the number 13 of Timothy Knipe and Dexter Knipe. I'm sure those guys are related. So we're going to call them Dexter and Timothy tonight to make it a little easier for us. Beautiful facility. Oh, and then it's James Bedzer going around and taking the 5 with him here as well. Let's take another look at what's going on. Oh, it looks like nose to tail touch there. Just slight touch is all it takes to get those guys off balance. And then it's flying everywhere pretty much. And it looks like the number 5 blows up that engine in the process. All right, so we're taking the clock's ticking away to the final moments of practice here. Kyle Harbin, the quickest guy on the track currently, still here, and looking to improve his time. Obviously, at 27.7 time. I mean, that's a pretty good time, but I will say Badger's right there behind him with only 600ths of a second behind him. So that looks promising for an interesting race. And then we have Alex Anderson, and I believe he's sitting in for I think that's I forgot, but I've seen that paint job before. So let's see. We have Andrew Freeling having a little trouble keeping it in a straight line coming off the turns there. And practice has finished, so we'll be going into qualifying here. And let's see if we can quickly bring up the practice results? No, we cannot. There are no registered results in this session. So we're in qualifying. Qualifying is being done individually. The drivers will not see each other, but we can see them as they go out and do their laps. The two-lap qualifying, best lap counts for the gridding for the heats. So let's see. We're looking at Jonathan Mitchum here in the number 15 car, police livery. Looks cool. Greg Wood Sr. in the 64 is already out, and then Chuck Frazier in the 73 car is out. And let's see who else we got here. Dexter is out in the Carolina car. And all guys looking to qualify here. Putting their best bit forward, obviously. High banking on this track. It's a pretty tight track, actually. It's hard to drive high lines. It's a concrete kind of surface, so it's a lot different from other tracks in that respect. Jared Small here in a 99 car getting out of the pits. And let's see, we've got Dexter so far posting the quickest time in qualifying at 27.54. And then we have Chuck Frazier, and he's posting a 27.54 as well, if I saw that correctly. Let me check here real quick. Yeah, it's Fraser doing a 27.48. Sorry about that. And then it's Greg Wood Sr. that has put up a 27.42. And I'm kind of waiting for the other guys to come out and play. Alex Anderson in the 67 car. Jerry Parker in the Mountain Dew number 18 coming out of the pits. And it looks like there's some guys not really interested in the qualifying. Well, it's 10 minutes, so they have some time. Jared Small here posted a 27.55 in the 99 car. And Timothy is out there on the track in the 13, getting ready to post the time. And let's see here, we got Jarrett Small currently taking that provisional pole position with a 27.4. And Alex Anderson, oh, he turns it around. Let's see if we can find out what happens. He gets, ooh, he touches the wall there, and that gets him off balance a little bit. And let's see what happens here. Well, that's before the incident. And here he gets two wheels on the apron, and that upsets the car way too much for him to keep the nose going forward. He keeps it off the wall. That's cool. So Alex Anderson is going to have to try again. Let's see who else we got out here. This is Jerry Parker. And Kyle is now out. And let's take a look at Kyle Harbin. We expect him to move up into the list here fairly quickly. Kyle is one of the regulars in the Mason-Dixon Racing Series with the street stocks, and generally we find him in the top quarter of the field. So hopefully he can get it back up here as well. It looks like that car is a little bit loose. I'm not 100% sure, but they normally run fixed setup in this series. So, yeah, Kyle's taking it to the provisional pole here with a 27.28. So it's now Timothy Knipe in second, Jarrett Small in third, Gregory Woot in fourth, Dexter Knipe in fifth, and then Chuck Frazier in sixth, Greg Wood in seventh, Jonathan Mitchum has the eighth time, and ninth is Jerry Parker, and Alex Anderson has posted a 10th time. And let's see, that it looks like Kyle has got his laps in, and Andrew Freeling has is out on the track for his attempt. And he gets those left wheels on that apron, and I'm pretty sure you got to be careful doing that. You got to hang on to stuff. It'll upset the car most certainly. Yeah, runs a little wide here. Coming out of four. Sliding that back end, but he saves it. And let's see what he posted here. And he didn't. Did he post anything? No, he didn't post it. They disqualified the time because of maybe an incident. I'm not sure. Let's see James Badzer here out on the track in the number 7 car. He was second in practice. Let's see what James can do. He brings it up to ninth, and I would think that's his first lap out. Also, one of the regulars, obviously, of the Mason-Dixon Racing Series admin. So we see James a lot. Good driver. And let's see, his second time moves him up into the 8th position at 27.57. So, yeah, good field. 11 drivers posted a time, and we have a few drivers that you do not see on the left of your screen because they did not post a time just yet. So that's Stefan Denmark, Brandon Sutherland, Andrew Freeling, Gavin Rupchon, and Garrett Strachola, and Devin Deshay, and Nathan Bryan. They did not post times in qualifying. They still have 3 minutes if they would want to, but yeah, sometimes people elect to just stay in the back of the field and see what happens. Let's see if we can bring up some stuff here. This is the number 13 car. Oh, and he has a bit of a weird twitch there and throws it into the wall. And that is Timothy Knipe. And here we see, we saw that earlier. That's the 67. So, yeah, back life, basically nothing to do but wait until qualifying ticks away from us. So let's bring up that race information once again. 1 mile oval, Dover International Speedway. 26 degrees Celsius ambient temperature. That is in the right around 80, early in the low 80s in Fahrenheit. 57% humidity, partly cloudy, and about a little over 10-mile-an-hour wind. We're going to do 2 heats tonight, and we're going to do a feature of 50 laps. And once again, we want to acknowledge the sponsors for the Mason-Dixon Racing Series, Pulse Graphics, and Nicky's Garden. And we're awaiting qualifying to get done. We have about a minute of waiting left. Kyle Harbin put it on the provisional pole. I doubt that anybody else is going back out now. It's getting too close to the end. This is like I said, a non-championship event just for fun. The Mason-Dixon series can use more members. Obviously, we enjoy good racing, hard racing, but fair. It's a very cool championship. Mostly, I've been on board for 2 races into the series now, and I really enjoy doing these broadcasts for these guys. It's fun racing. There's always action all throughout the field. It's close and it's respectful. And yes, there's a little bit of touching here and there, but it's stock car racing. So that's kind of comes with the territory. So Mason-Dixon Racing Series. If you enjoy these cars and if you enjoy a fun series, then this is something you would definitely want to consider. So that's what tonight is all about. Let you show a little bit of what we do, and it looks like we're getting ready to get started. So let's take a look here at the grid on pole. It's for the first heat, it's Jared Small, then Gregory Woods on the inside. It's Dexter Knipe. It's Chuck Frazier. Fifth is Greg Wood. Then sixth is James Badzer. Then it's Jonathan Mitchum and Jerry Parker. On the fourth row, on the fifth row, it's Alex Anderson and Garrett Strachata. And on the sixth row, we have Stefan Denmark and Gavin Ropchon. And let's move them up a little bit here. And then on the seventh row, we have Brandon Sutherland, Devin Deshay, and then Nathan Bryan and Andrew Freeling are rounding out the 16 cars. So there you have the grid. And we're waiting the cars to grid up here. Getting ready to get rolling behind the pace truck. And we're still waiting for the 77 of Strachata, Stefan Denmark, Gavin Ropchon, Brandon Sutherland, Devin Deshay, and Nathan Bryan. They have about a minute and a half to grid up here, and I certainly hope they do. The more the merrier in this type of racing, for sure. There you see the part of the field behind the pace car already. Take a quick look here inside with Alex Anderson in his car, right behind Mitchum in the police car. And they're rolling. Not everybody gridded up, or they might be going into the second heat. I might be mistaken on that. I apologize. That actually makes sense. Well, we have 9 cars here, so that would leave 7 for the other heat. That might be the case. And we actually have 10 cars rolling right now, so I'm not sure how that was distributed over the heats if there's a second heat, but we'll see what happens. We are just looking forward to some cool and fun racing. Jarrett Small on the pole on the inside here of Gregory Wood Sr. Gregory Wood Sr. also one of the regulars in the Mason-Dixon series. And we have James Badzer there in 5th. And there we go. We're racing. Going into turn 1, the 99. Ooh, and the 23 has got a great start already on the inside alongside the number 5 car there. And Jarrett Small takes the lead. It's Dexter in 2nd. It's Gregory Wood still in 3rd, but he's being challenged by Greg Wood Jr. And they exchanged some metal and some paint there. And then it's Frazier in the 5th position, and it's Badzer being passed for 6th by the 15 of Mitchum, trying to hang on, and the 67 of Anderson is in 8th. Let's go back up front, because it's Dexter Knipe that brings it back in front here. Jarrett Small now in 2nd, Wood Sr. in 3rd, and Wood Sr. is on that low side with the... Ooh, and he washes up and takes out the 99 car. Let's take a quick look on how this happens. Oops, too far back, sorry. He just washes up, takes out the 99 car, and then let me see what happens to Greg Wood. He also runs into the barrier there. So very unfortunate for Greg Wood Sr. He was right there up front. No yellow flag. We're still moving. Back live, it's Dexter in front. And it's now Chuck Frazier that picks up 2nd position. And it's Greg Wood into 23, trying to keep the family name alive here in this race. And the number 15 of Jonathan Mitchum right behind him. And then it's Badzer in 5th. It's Parker in 6th. It's Anderson behind him, and then it's Freeling in 8th position. And unfortunately, Jared Small has taken to the pit Gregory Wood as well. So let's go back up at the front here, and it looks like Dexter Knipe's fairly comfortably in the lead. And the second group of car here, they're still close together. The 73, sorry, of Chuck Frazier, the 17 of Greg Wood. It's James Badzer in the 7th, and it's Jonathan Mitchum in the 15 car here. And they're going to be duking it out for the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th positions. Dexter's somewhat away out there, about a second, 1.3 seconds. And that's quite a distance on a track like this, but it looks like Badzer's closing in now, going to the inside. Ooh, and it looks like the 17 washes up to the wall a little bit, losing a little bit of speed. It's Badzer going to the inside. He's taken away that 3rd position from Greg Wood, and Greg Wood has got to be careful not to get the police too close behind him there. Badzer on the inside, trying to keep it low. You can tell the cars are a little bit wiggly there. They tend to get loose, and then the 23 gets into the back of Badzer, and he kind of messes it up for himself, and he takes out the police with him. Let's take a little look at that a little bit further back here. He gets into the back of Badzer and loses his own balance, and then points it to the outside and collects the 15 car pretty much on the way. It looks like the 15 car is still running though, and yes, he is. And he did lose some time. He lost a place to Alex Anderson, and he's got Jerry Parker past him now as well here in the Mountain Dew car. So yeah, unfortunate for him. It's Dexter Knipe. He's still comfortably in the lead, about 1.2 seconds ahead of Chuck Frazier. And James Badzer, although he did get touched in that rear end, he kept it going, and he's still going strong here in 3rd position, right behind Frazier in the 73. So he looks to move up. He wants to move up. He comes to the inside here. Maybe he can do something in turn 1. And 73 closes the door on him and then washes up a little bit. Not sure if they touched. I don't believe so. But the 7 of Frazier goes underneath now. And the 73 is on the high side, losing that position. Well, they're still side by side. Ooh, watch out for that apron. And the 7 washes up a little bit and gives that 73 a little bit of paint on the side. And he loses a little bit of speed, so Badzer now comfortably in 2nd position, and that's how they finish. And that concludes the first heat, with Dexter Knipe in 1st. Badzer was 2nd, and let me see if I can bring that up real quick. Heat number 1. There you go, Dexter Knipe, Badzer, Fraser, Anderson, Parker, Mitchum, Freeling 7th, Wood in 8th, and Wood Sr. in 9th, and then Jared Small was in 10th position. And that means we're going to be gridding them up for... No, we're not having a second heat, so I was a little confused there. I apologize for that. It was one big heat that was supposed to take everybody, and not everybody started it. So warm-up racing going on now. They're going to be warming up for the feature race. The feature race will be 50 laps, and let's take another look at that real quickly here. And once again, acknowledge Pulse Graphics and Nicky's Garden, series sponsors for the Mason-Dixon Racing Series. And again, we are doing a non-championship, just fun Dover International Speedway event here. And just everybody, the miles and the seat time is good for everybody. So warm-up lap, the warm-up practice on the way, and it's a 5-minute warm-up. We're all a minute and a half in there, and it looks like Kyle Harbin is set the quickest lap time. and he's being followed by Greg Wood with the second time. Parker now posting the third time. We have Freeling out on the track. We have Chuck Frazier posting the second time now. Ooh, and he gets those inside wheels on that apron and loses it, and that's what happens. Let's take a look at that real quick here. There's just no catching when that back end comes around that far. So, good for him. It's only the warm-up. Let's see if we got some more takers here. We got Timothy Kanipe into 13 coming out to practice. And warm-up practice for these guys. Obviously, not just for warming up tires, cars, and engines and whatnot, but also for trying to get yourself in the right mindset for the feature race and get your thoughts organized on how you're going to do it. Jerry Parker out on the track in the number 18 car. And Andrew Freeling. Greg Wood has moved himself up to the top of the sheet here with a 27.4. Ooh, and same thing. Ooh, he catches that beautiful. That is skill, really. But it also shows us that what we need to be watching for, and he's basically what I think he's doing is he's just trying it out and see if it works or not. And the lower you can keep that car, if you can keep it going in the right direction, the better it is, obviously. But it looks to me like Greg Wood's just trying out and see how low he can get it without getting in trouble. And let's see, we've got Kyle on the track here. We've got Timothy on the track in the 13. Jerry Parker, and we have Andrew Freeling, and the others are in the pit lane. And we have a little bit over a minute of warm-up left to go, and then we'll line them up for the feature race. Kyle Harbin here in the 23 car. And it looks like Timothy had a little bit of a moment. See if we can find that. No, not really. And it looks like these cars are a little bit loose on the entry of the turn, and it gives them a bit of a handful getting in there. And you can tell that once you start sliding, it takes a bit of skill to keep it going in the right direction and not wash it all the way up to the wall. So it'll be interesting to see how they do this in the race, and trying to keep it clean. And there you can see that the warm-up has finished, and we're going to be moving into the race. And let's see the grid here. On the pole we have Kyle Harbin, and alongside him Timothy Kanipe, or Kanipe, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I apologize, I don't mean to insult you. Dexter is on the second row with James Badzer. Then it's Chuck Frazier and Alex Anderson on the third row. Jerry Parker, Jonathan Mitchum on the fourth. Andrew Freeling and Greg Wood on the fourth row. And then we have Gregory Wood Sr. and Jarrett Small on the sixth row. Garrett Strachata and Stefan Denmark on the seventh row. And Gavin Ropchan and Brandon Sutherland on the eighth row. There's your grid for tonight's race. Cars are lining up in the pit lane, getting ready behind the pace truck. And we're still waiting for some of them, I would say. And we're rolling. And a looks to me like James Badzer is electing to start from the pit, and I'm not sure if that's a choice he made or if that's involuntary there. So we might have to find out later if we can. All right, so swaying a little bit left and right to warm up the tires, get a little bit of heat in them. They're going to need it on the surface here. It's a concrete track. It's a different feel from asphalt for sure. The 23 of Harbin on the pole there on the inside, and the 13 of Timothy alongside him, and Dexter and Jonathan Mitchum behind. And we're going to go racing here and get this feature underway. Very disciplined here. Green. There we go. We're rolling. Green flag is out. The 23 is on the inside here. And I'm sure he's going to take the lead, and he takes that police car with him on that inside line. Ooh, a little bit of a uncertainty on that car. The 13 seems to be dropping back just a little bit, but they're still side by side. It's Harbin in the lead. It's Timothy. It's now Dexter in front of Timothy, and it looks like the 13 ran up a little bit wide there. He's got Chuck Frazier to worry about on the inside, and Dexter is going to challenge Harbin for the lead here on the lower side. Harbin up high. Harbin going to try to keep that momentum going on the high side, but he loses the lead to Dexter, and has to settle for second. But he's not just given up just yet. Oh, and we have a major incident here in the back of the pack. Oop, that's too far back. Let's see what happens. It's the Mountain Dew car and the 17 getting together. Jerry Parker and Greg Wood. Let's see if we can watch this from the perspective of Wood. Oh, he's just basically an unlucky bystander. It was the 15, Jonathan Mitchum, that got together with him. So, unfortunate for him. It looks like Greg Wood has gone to the pits. And, yep, he's going to take some tires and get that car fixed up if he can. Dexter is slowing here behind the pace car. Not sure if the pace car passed him already. Sometimes the pace car comes out at an awkward moment and they have to wait for the pace car to get in front. Yes, that's exactly what was happening here, and Dexter waits for the pace car, and then the other guys are lining up right there. It's Kyle Harbin in the second position. We have Timothy in the third position. We have Chuck Frazier in fourth. Mitchum is in fifth. James Badzer is in sixth position. And I'm not sure if he did start from the pit, but if he did, then he's already up there. And it looks like he's being scored in seventh, actually. And we have Greg Wood rejoining in the 17. He's got a different number on that paint job, and that throws me off a little bit there. And then we have a bunch of guys that didn't start, I guess. So let's bring it up to the front here. Dexter trying to make himself invisible inside the pace truck. The iRacing has made it so that you cannot hit the pace car. That's why you can see drivers getting inside that pickup truck. So it looks funny. Lap 5 of 50. And it looks like Timothy is going to be right behind his brother there on the restart. I'm pretty sure they'll go double file. Chuck Frazier is in fourth. Freeling is in sixth and fifth. I'm sorry, Jonathan Mitchum is in sixth. It's Badzer in seventh. It's Wood Sr. back out on the track. He's in eighth position. Greg Wood, he's in ninth position, and Parker is in 10th position. And incidents like that are pretty common, I would say, for this type of racing. You want to try to avoid it as much as you can, but you know, it's going fast. It's not as easy as it looks, for sure. I mean, the car is a handful to drive, and any slight mistake can throw you off balance. And once you are off balance and you're in close proximity of others, it's pretty easy to take somebody or touch somebody, put them out of balance, and then well, then the stuff happens that we just saw happening. So one of the free cars at iRacing, the street stocks. When you get into iRacing and you enjoy NASCAR style racing, this is what you get started in. And I don't believe that Dover is a free track, but there's a bunch of shorter ovals like Dover that you will be racing on to gain some license points and work your way up into the bigger cars. So yeah, it's this is one of the things you get started with if you're new to iRacing and you want to do NASCAR style racing. Harbin going back and forth, left and right to keep some heat in those tires. And even that, with that, you have to be a little bit careful because it's possible to even just lose it going slow and not being careful enough doing that waving and lose it on the pace laps. I've seen it happen plenty of times. So coming by the flag stand here, and the lights on the pace truck are out, so we're going to go racing in one lap. The cars are lining them up double file now, getting ready to go. Looks like Greg Wood is really on that bumper of Badzer there. Badzer going a little bit high. And once the truck goes in, it's up to Dexter to decide when to go. It's not unusual for these guys to start a little bit before that green flag is actually called out. And that's up to the to the first place driver to make that decision. The good thing about that is that the field generally stretches out a little bit more, and it makes it a little bit easier for guys to get into turn one. And there we go. It's Dexter picking up the pace here and leading the pack into... Oh, and we have an issue in the back of the field.
Caution.
We have another caution here. Let's go see what happens. It's on the restart. Badzer moves around the 11, and that brings Wood in, forces Wood to go high, and he runs into Wood Sr. I'm sure they're going to be talking about that next barbecue. And looks like they can all get going again. It's Freeling standing still here, and he's got quite a bit of damage on the front end of that car. Yeah, that steering is bent, and it might be over for him. That's unfortunate. He took a tow to the pit, and we're under yellow once again. Dexter did not even get a chance to be attacked by anybody. He was in the lead in the first lap, and before we got to the end of the second lap, or the second turn, it was already back to yellow. So hopefully we can do better next restart. So Dexter in the lead, and scoring tells me that Timothy has picked up the second position from Kyle. I missed that going to the crashing cars, but that's what it looks like. Fraser is in fourth, and then it's Mitchum in fifth. Wood is in sixth position. Badzer is bumping one Wood and being bumped by the other Wood. Greg Wood Senior is in eighth, and it looks like Parker and Freeling have called it a day. They're still on pit lane, and they might try to rejoin, but it looked to me like the 11 of Freeling was pretty damaged. And let's see if we can get a better shot. No, not really, not with these cameras. All right, so lap 10 of 50. It's not a very long race. It's just for fun. Just getting some extra seat time in these cars, and more seat time, the better. So Dexter and Timothy are 1 and 2. I have no idea if they're family, but I'm guessing so. And Kyle Harbor in third in the 23 car. I guess he got caught out on that higher line on the restart a little bit. And then Frazier in fourth. Jonathan Mitchum, quite a bit of damage on the front end from that earlier incident. And then Greg Wood, also some damage from that last incident. And James Badzer in the number 7 car is 7th. Can't do better than that. And then Greg Wood Sr. is in 8th. And it looks like Parker is back out. And Freeling is not. He is in the pits, and I'm guessing he's calling it a day. Parker trying to get some heat in what's are undoubtedly fresh tires. Dexter running right alongside, giving the pace truck driver a wave, I'm sure. Lights will be going out when they cross the start-finish line. No, lights are still on. Fairly extended caution, and that may have to do with the fact that Freeling is in the pit. So the Mason-Dixon series regular runs on these type of tracks. They run this car, and they normally have their races on Saturday night. And the races are a bit longer than this one, but they work the same format. They have heat races before the feature, and they have a fun championship going on. There's a bunch of good drivers in there, and definitely Kyle Harbin is one of them. He's always up front there in those races. And as said, I've come on board with him a couple of weeks ago, and I thoroughly enjoy doing this for the series. It's a fun series. There's good racing going on. It's respectful. And then, well, like I said, you know, there might be a little bit of trading paint here and there, but that's just part of the scenery, and that's just coming with what we do. Lights on the pace car are now out. We are lining them up double file, and it looks to me like the first placed car is opting to stay on the outside, and that's kind of interesting to see. Especially on a restart, I would imagine the inside line would be preferable, but Dexter is thinking otherwise right now. Pace car's going in, and Dexter hits the gas. He's a couple takes a car length on Timothy right away,
Green flag.
and it's Kyle Harbin in the third position behind Timothy, and he's got the 73 of Chuck Fraser right behind him, and the 15 of John Mitchum trying to stay low on that bottom there. And Badzer right behind him, and Gregory Wood also clinging to that. And let's see how the Dexter and Timothy. Ooh, and Timothy almost loses it, washes it up to the high side, and that allows Kyle. Oh, and then Kyle does the same. He saves it. Amazing, amazing save there. He loses a little bit of time, but he's still rolling. And it's now Chuck Frazier that picks up second position, and it's Jonathan Mitchum going for third.
Caution.
Ooh, and then some more people lose it and cannot save it. We're picking up another caution here. Let's see what happens. It's Greg Wood going a little off balance, and he can't save the back end, and then it's the 13 of Timothy going, tapping him on the back end, and around he goes, and that was it. He is still rolling. Let's see if he can make it back to pit lane. Yeah, he's not even going to pit lane. So Dexter is still in the lead. We saw Timothy wash up high there and almost losing it, and lost quite a bit of time. Dropped to the back of the field, and then was unfortunately involved there with Greg Wood. And we do have, we have no takers for the pits. They might actually still be closed. It's the first yellow lap. It's Dexter in front, and Chuck Frazier made up some positions there in that restart and those few green laps that we had. And it's Mitchum in third. It's Kyle dropping back to fourth after a huge save on that restart. That was amazing to see. And that shows you that some of these drivers in this series, they know their business. They know what they're doing. So Badzer is in fifth now. It's Wood in sixth. It's Timothy in seventh, hanging on. Jerry Parker is in eighth, and Greg Wood, is in ninth position. And I missed Wood Senior. There he is. He's still rolling. He's in sixth. I'm sure I mentioned him. I apologize. Sometimes I get ahead of myself. Take a quick look at what happened once again. For some, it doesn't look like. Oops. It doesn't look like Badzer and Wood are touching, but Wood goes high. He gets off balance a little bit. And then just that little tab from Timothy is enough to ruin his afternoon. But he's still rolling. He's hanging with the pack. So if you're still alive, there's still hope. Lights are out now on the pace truck. So we're going to be... no, I'm sorry. They're still on. They're not very clear. So we'll be doing another yellow lap. Yeah, let's check on James here. In the 7 car. He's got some damage on the right front. And Wood Senior has got some damage on the front. Timothy looks unscathed. He doesn't look like he suffered any damage from that little tap. And then Jerry Parker's got a little bit of damage on the left front, and it's a little bit worse for Greg here in the 23 car. And yeah, he's got a little bit more damage there. It's not going to hurt him too much. We're not going fast enough for any of that stuff to make that much of a difference. The biggest issue on these cars and on these shorter tracks is to keep the suspension and the steering system aligned. and make sure you don't hurt that stuff, because once that stuff is crooked, then you're in trouble. It's a very tough car to drive if your steering system is not straight anymore. Like I said, I'm fairly sure this is a fixed setup race, but don't quote me on that. That this car is a little bit loose on tracks like these, so it is definitely not easy. It's a challenging machine, and the good thing about that is that you learn your car control in early classes like this when you get started on iRacing. As I said, it's part of the free content, so you get to play with this thing as soon as you get on board. Let's check here on Kyle. Kind of easily waving that car, trying to keep some heat in those tires. Badzer. And he's got push here on the back end. You don't you don't want to invite people too much. Gregory Wood Sr. running pretty good in 6th position. Timothy following in 7th. And Chuck Frazier finds himself in the 2nd spot. And it looks like the leader is now electing to go on the bottom. And we're going to get going here. Lights on the pace car are out. And they're nicely lined up this time. It looks really good. A little bit of discipline in that restart business can save us some time, probably. We're on lap 20 of 50. We're going to go green flag racing once again. It's Dexter in front. And I'm sure the other guys will be challenging hard. There he goes. Dexter is on the gas early. He pulls a couple of car lengths on the 15 of Mitchum. 73 looks out a little bit on that high side, and Harbin is going with the 15 on that lower side. And let's see if the 73 can cut back in there, but it looks like he's kind of caught out there. And James Badzer is hanging with Kyle on that inside as well. Timothy is right there with him, staying on the high side for now. The 73 can't come down. And the 7 washes up just a notch, and now it looks like the 73 can get into that line again. And let's see if he goes high again. He stays a little high. The 7 comes to... Oh, the 7 touches him on the quarter panel there. Throws him around, and then Greg Wood has nowhere to go. Big crash. Oh, that's unfortunate. Let's go back here and see what happens just a tad further back. The 7 washes up a little bit. The 73 comes down at the same time. They touch on the rear quarter panel. It sends the 73 flying into the wall, and Greg Wood in the 23 has absolutely no place to go. Very unfortunate. Let's check on Badzer real quick. And it looks like somebody else was slow. Oh, that's Greg Wood trying to go to the pits. They actually did not throw a yellow. And that happens sometimes. If the crashed cars are not on the racing line, then sometimes iRacing just lets them go. And Greg Wood is hanging on to that car. It's smoking like a chimney, but he's still running it. So let's check in on Dexter here. He's now about a second and a half ahead of Kyle Harbin that picked up 2nd place. It's Jonathan Mitchum in 4th, and Badzer picks up 4th position because of the mayhem there. Wood Sr. is in 5th, Timothy in 6th, Jerry Parker is in 7th, and Wood and Frazier are running behind us. I'm not sure if Frazier's still running. No, he is not. So let's take a look here at Dexter. Clearly dominant in this race at this point. It's Kyle Harbin having to deal with Jonathan Mitchum in the police car. There, he's looking to go to the inside, I think. No, not yet. He's taking his time. And you can tell that Kyle is actually sliding that back end just a little bit. and the 15 car does as well. It's those guys are showing me some very good driving skill. It's pretty cool. Kyle Harbin hangs on to second for now. Jonathan Mitchum is chasing him in third position. Let's take a ride here with Jonathan. And we see the smoking car up ahead. That's Greg Wood. He's going high to stay away from these guys. He's simply refusing to give up. He wants to finish the race. You can't blame him because that's the name of the game. So Mitchum right behind Harbin here. And Badzer has Timothy to worry about, fighting for that fourth position. Timothy on the high side, he seems to be nosing ahead there a little bit. Wood Sr. is right behind him, trying to benefit from anything that might happen. Badzer hits that apron just barely, and he seems to be staying ahead right now in fourth position. Timothy wiggling a little bit there. He's on the high side in that 13 car, and it's Wood Sr. right behind him in the 64. Badzer a little bit loose coming off of that turn. Still side by side. It's Timothy ahead now. Ooh, almost runs into that quarter panel again, trying to keep it low. And this is definitely not easy, I can tell you. Badzer's doing a great job staying on that lower side. The 13 wiggles a little bit on the entry, and that allows Badzer to nose that thing ahead a little bit again. Side by side, I think Timothy got that on the line, so he gets a fourth place scored on this lap. Still together there, and now it's Wood Sr. that's pushing that nose in between there, and he wants a part of this game here. And meanwhile, up front, we still have Harbin in second, Mitchum in third. That's not changed. Oh, and there it went wrong for James Badzer. That's so unfortunate. Let's take another look at that. That's the wrong incident. I'm sorry. The 7 of Badzer, he gets loose by getting that left front on the apron a little bit too much. And then he can't hold it, runs it into the wall, and upside down he goes. Very, very unfortunate. Let's see how Parker's doing and how Greg Wood and Timothy were doing. They got through it fairly unscathed. There's Wood Sr., and he's in fifth now behind Timothy. It's the 11 I saw there of Freeling still running. I wasn't aware of that. I thought he stayed in the pits, but evidently after some extensive repairs, he did get back out. And he'll be running 8 laps behind the leader. And it's Frazier that also shown 4 laps out. He's gone out. He's gone out. And so has Greg Wood. I guess there was just nothing to gain anymore. So that leaves Dexter still in the lead. His advantage over Harbin has evaporated because of the yellow flag. Harbin will get another chance at him, and Jonathan Mitchum as well. And those two were running together for second and third. They were racing hard. Timothy now in fourth position, picks that up from Badzer. And it looks like Badzer is in the pits. And it'll be interesting to see if he takes repairs and keeps going. Wood Sr. is in the pit there. And it looks like Jerry Parker is bringing it into the pit as well for much needed repairs. And it looks like Wood Sr. is taking tires for sure. And it looks like Jerry Parker had a little bit of issues getting it on the right position for the pit crew. iRacing will not just let you put it anywhere. You have to be somewhere in close proximity of where the mechanics are. Meanwhile, it's Dexter and Harbin at the front, and they'll be getting another go at it when we go green. We're talking lap 33 of 50. We're over halfway now. We generally do not have this many yellows in the championship races, in the series races at Mason-Dixon Racing Series. Most of the drivers are pretty respectful and like to keep it clean. And like I said, it's hard racing, but it's respectful, and you can't always help that something will happen. but most of them are doing a really good job of keeping it clean. And Badzer is still in the pit there. And Freeling is also still in the pit, and it looks like Greg Wood Sr. is out again. And he is actually still on the lead lap. The first 6 cars are still on the lead lap. So that still gives him a shot at a good position at the finish here. Parker trying to get heat in that fresh rubber there. He's in 6th. And I'm not sure if Badzer is coming back. Take a closer look. Lights on the pace truck are still on. Yeah, it looks like James is calling it a night. He is in the pits, and we're going to line them up now, slowly but surely. The next time by, they will probably get the 1 to go sign. And I'm sure Dexter is going to stay on the low side this time, because it looks like the low side works a little bit better on those restarts. He opted for the outside that last caution, and I was kind of wondering about that. Well, the lights on the pace truck are still on. They'll be going out next time by here. Yep, the lights on the pace truck are now out, and it looks like we're going back to racing. Next time we get out of turn 4, and they're lining them up side by side. It's Dexter on the inside and Kyle on the outside. And then we have Jonathan Mitchum and Timothy on the second row. Greg Wood Sr. and Jerry Parker are your top 6 cars. And that's all we have left. That is rolling at this point, because James Badzer is not coming out of the pits, it looks like. So 6 cars, they're on the lead lap. Actually, we have Andrew Freeling here as well. He is being scored 5 laps down from the leader. So he's still hanging on. He wants to finish the race. Quite a bit of damage on that car. There we go. Dexter hits the gas, and he pulls a car length on Kyle, but Kyle responds pretty quickly. Then it's the 13 on the outside, touching the wall, almost coming down on the 15 there. The 15 picks up 3rd position. That's Jonathan Mitchum. It's Greg Wood Sr. on the outside of Timothy now, picking up 4th position, or trying to hard at least. And then it's Parker in the 6th position behind these 2 guys. Let's check out here on the front. There's quite a bit of gap already between Dexter and Kyle Harbin, and then the 15 of Mitchum is also quite a bit behind. And it's Gregory Wood and Timothy that are battling for the 4th and 5th position. It's Timothy picking it up now on the low side, Greg Wood on the high side, and he's trying to stay with him on that high side. And they're side by side still, coming back to the 3rd and 4th position. Looks like Timothy nosing ahead now and taking that position away from him. And behind him, it's the 18 of Jerry Parker following in 6th position. Let's bring her back up to the front here. It's Dexter in the lead, fairly solidly And it's Harbin, solidly in second position, and then Jonathan Mitchum in third. So those guys are stretched out quite a bit now. And Timothy is in fourth, but it looks like Greg Wood Sr. is not quite ready to give up on that fourth position. He's still behind Timothy and hoping to see if he can stick that car underneath on the bottom. The 13 keeps that bottom locked up pretty good. There he goes, Wood Sr. trying to look on the inside, not close enough to make anything happen, and he knows that. He tugs in right behind the 13. Back on the main straightaway, try again maybe, take a little look on the inside. He wants to get underneath there, but he's not quite close enough. He's about a car length in between there, just a little bit less maybe. And it looks like they're coming up on Jonathan Mitchum there. Yeah, they're not too far. Oh, and the 13 on the apron, and that puts him off balance. He slows down, and he gets a little nip in the back from Greg Wood Sr., and that throws him into the wall. And we are not going yellow because the car was already off the racing line quick enough. Let's take a quick look at this again. The 13 is going low, two wheels on the apron, gets off balance, has to get off the gas, and Wood gets that nose right in the back of the 13, and around she goes. And that puts Timothy in the pit lane. It's now Dexter going around the car of Freeling. Freeling is 4 laps down, and he's still running. Dexter still in the lead, and now Kyle Harbin goes underneath Freeling as well. And it'll be Jonathan Mitchum doing the same thing there in a few moments. Wood Sr. is hanging on to 4th place. And Parker has left the building, left the race. And it looks like there's only 4 cars running at this point in the race. It looks like Freeling is the 5th car that's still running, but he's quite a ways down. Yeah, it looks like Parker has given up. So it's Dexter in front. It's Kyle Harbin in the 2nd position. Jonathan Mitchum is in 3rd. Gregory Wood Sr. rounds him up in the 4th position, and Andrew Freeling is going to be making up a few positions maybe. We have 6 more laps to go, so yeah, he might pick up another position here maybe. Getting ahead of Wood, who is also shown 4 laps down. Not sure if Wood is still running. I don't believe so. No, he's not. So let's take a look up here at the front. It is Dexter comfortably in the lead with a 2.6 margin on Kyle Harbin in the 23 car. Kyle brings it low as well. And Jonathan Mitchum is in 3rd, and he's about 2.5 seconds behind Harbin. And Jonathan is about almost 6 seconds behind Dexter. And then it's Wood Sr. in the 4th position. He's about 1.5 seconds behind Jonathan Mitchum. And we can keep an eye on these guys and see if Wood Sr. is closing in on him a little bit. And from the looks of it right now, I don't really believe so. It's right around 1.4 seconds, and it looks like it's staying that way. He inches towards him about by 1/10 of a second now. So maybe Gregory Wood still has something for the 15 car. Lap 48, 3 laps to go. Is probably not going to be enough time for Wood Sr. to do anything unless Mitchum makes a mistake. And it's Dexter still leading now by over 3 seconds, and Kyle Harbin is in 2nd. Jonathan Mitchum in 3rd. Greg Wood Sr. He does look like he's closing in on Mitchum, but he might not have enough laps. It looks like Mitchum does seem to slow down quite a bit here. Dexter is going to be taking the white flag here next time by. That is going to happen right now. Dexter taking the white flag, 1 more lap to go. Goes underneath the 11 of Andrew Freeling. Kyle Harbor in second. Jonathan Mitchum is now seeing Greg Wood Sr. approach, but I don't think it'll be enough to worry him in this last lap. Dexter takes the win. Good job. Kyle Harbin, I'm sorry, takes a second position. Jonathan hangs on to third, but Greg Wood was getting close. He just runs out of laps, and Wood brings it home in the fourth position. And there's your race, ladies and gentlemen. Four drivers rolling over, actually five drivers rolling over the finish. Andrew Freeling brings it home 5 laps down from the leader, that is. And there you have her. Here are your race results. Kyle Harbin. Well, that's odd. It shows Kyle Harbin in first position. That's not correct. I don't know what's going on here with oh, those are the wrong results. My bad. Let me see here. The feature, the results of the feature. There they are. Sorry about that little mistake. New scoring system. Dexter Canopy, I'm guessing I'm gonna call him that. He picks up the win. Kyle Harbin is in third. Jonathan Mitchell is in fourth, and Greg Wood Sr. is in the fifth position. In the fourth position, I apologize. Andrew Freeling is scored as eighth, and he was actually 22 laps behind the leader. So let's see if we can find anybody to talk to. We have not that many drivers online here. I'm going to pull. I'll see if I can pull James in here. No, I cannot. See if I can put myself with him. Hey, James, can you hear me? This is Mark in the booth.
Of course. That's how it normally is.
James, can you hear me? Can you hear me, James? Well, unfortunately, that is not going quite the way we had hoped. So we're going to call it a night here at Short Shift Broadcasting. We hope you appreciated this race organized by the Mason-Dixon Racing Series, a non-championship event just for the heck of it. It was won by Dexter Canopy, and its second place was Kyle Harbin. Jonathan Mitchum brings it in third. That's your podium finishers. We saw quite a few yellows. We had, I think it was 11 or 10 drivers that took to the start, and 5 of them rolled over the finish line, 4 of them on the lead lap. So we hope you enjoyed the Mason-Dixon series. As said, we run on Saturday nights in this series. The races are a little bit longer than this one, and well, maybe we'll see you there. It's been fun for now. My name is Mark. This is Short Shift Broadcasting. We bid you good night.